I want to hand it back to Tony, and he's going to share about Firebrand, update you guys on that, and introduce Josh. But thank you, church, for giving and making Firebrand possible, as it is a huge, huge thing in the lives of our young people. The fire of God is so valuable, and I'm going to, some point, share with you a picture of my daughter. Every year they do a fire tunnel, and Ruby went through the fire tunnel. A fire tunnel is where leaders gather on both sides, and you walk through, and they lay their hands on you. They speak life and impart into your life. And Ruby came through, and the second person that prayed for her, she just began to weep as the power of God came across her. I have a picture of her coming through just in tears. She came to me. I was sitting at the end, and she came to me, and I said, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Were you scared?" "No." I said, "Was that Jesus?" "Yes." "Fire!" I just began to pray over her, and she's bawling in my lap. And even after that point, she just said, "God touched me." And so for a 7-year-old to literally have the power of God on her physical body in that way, I touched her belly and I got a good little jolt. So it was awesome to see even my kids impacted. You saw Benny up front here with hands raised. You boys were impacted. Our youth were impacted. It's good stuff. Sorry I took your thunder.
I guess we'll just move on now. No, I do want to say a thank you to everyone that gave towards sponsoring Youth for Firebrand. From someone who has been impacted as a 16-year-old going to Firebrand myself, and I've seen it shape my life, and I'm watching that happen now in the lives of these young men and women here, and for so many of them, they wouldn't be able to go if it weren't for those of you that contributed money towards that, and so thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys are changing lives. So just a real brief update from this weekend. Friday night, it was so cool. You guys should have been there. You missed out. They started into worship. Okay, I won't share too much because Haley's going to do this. I'll just say they started into worship, and we never quite got to the actual preaching part. And it was good. It was just God moving that night, and I'll stop. Haley's going to share about that a little bit. And then, yeah, just Saturday, just speaker after speaker that I can, personally attest to. Some of them just live an absolute life after God and are radically committed to following Him. And the impartation that happens there is invaluable. The preaching is good, but is like Tim said, just the impartation that happens, having men and women that are completely, their lives have been given to God for years, for decades, and having that imparted into our young people, there's no substitute for that. So it was just an awesome weekend of impartation, and I saw so much identity that was grabbed hold of by these young men and women, and there was so much good that happened in this past weekend through that. I'll have Haley come up and share here for a minute.
Thank you. So like Tony said, so Friday night of Firebrand, we go and we start with worship, and then we'll have like a couple of lessons. It didn't happen. We started into worship. It was good worship too. We were really getting into it, and then one of the other youth there, he had a word, and he just began to speak about just the lost, people, non-believers, and how we need to bring them in. We need to show them the love of Jesus. They need to meet Jesus, and this is something that we are called to do, and we want to see more people who know the Lord. And we just began to pray into this, and people, we just started to call out names. We started to we just started to war for people, and we were crying out for them because we want more people to know Jesus. We want them to know the love. We want them to be saved. And it was just such a powerful night where we just spent hours just crying we were crying. I mean, there were children there, young children, crying and praying for these lost souls, for these lost people. And it was just so, it was so powerful. Like, the people are yelling, they are war crying, and people are in tears on the floor just sobbing. And it was such a powerful moment. And I just felt blessed to be there, to experience it, to be able to pray with all these other people. And I mean, I don't know how long we spent, but it was a good bit of time. Like, we didn't get to any lessons. We worshiped for probably 30 minutes to an hour, and then the last 2 hours were just crying out to the Lord and just crying out for people and more people and crying out for revival. And I mean, that is something that I feel like is on a lot of people's hearts lately, is just revival here, revival just in America and the nations. Revival is coming. And that moment when we were all praying, we knew that what we were doing that night was going to change the kingdom. It was going to affect the kingdom. It wasn't just, oh, we're crying out for people. It was, this is going to bring more people. This is going to expand the kingdom. And it was so powerful to be there and know that we aren't just praying, we aren't just crying, we are doing something about it. We are warring in the spirit for it, not just, oh, God, we want more people. It was, we need more people. We are going to go after these people, and we are going to love them because Jesus loves them. And it was incredible. Okay, I'm good.
Bean, why don't you come up, and Bean just wanted to share just something else that came out of that evening here.
Yeah, like Haley was saying, just it was very impactful. One of the things when I got there, I knew there was something there for me, and when we were in that moment, there was just I just knew that that's what I wanted. I wanted to war for the lost people. And I was waiting for somebody to pray with me, and nothing happened, and I was waiting, and it was getting close time to the end, and Tony came up to me and was asking me what I was struggling with, and I was like, well, I'm just have a heart for these people. And he prayed for me and told me that I am called for war in that area. And it was kind of funny because I was looking for somebody different than just Tony. I mean, I love Tony, but I was looking for somebody there, but I went there and Tony spoke into me, which was great, but not what I was looking for.
Sometimes all it takes is persistence to be the one that they didn't want.